everybody. So I guess I'm going to give you all my opinion on Manor Lords. I put about 10-11 hours into it today, and although I don't typically play city builder games, I find myself pretty bored of them pretty quickly. This game was so interesting that I just wanted to play more of it because aesthetically it's just really, I don't know the right way to put it. I really like the visual of this game, and although that sounds kind of like a weird reason to really like a game, I found this game very, very appealing to look at and to play. So what is Manor Lords? What is this game? This is a typical city builder game, although it goes for a very hardcore, traditional, let's say European aesthetic setup. Stuff like that, right? Your characters are going to look very traditional. They're going to look, like they come from medieval Europe. That's about it. City builder game. So what does that mean? Typically speaking, you're going to chop wood. You're going to turn that wood into fire, or what do you want to call it? Fuel. Then you use that fuel to fuel your houses. The better fuel you have, the more food you have, the better you've done stuff, then you can upgrade your houses. Typical city builder stuff here, right? So what makes it different? What sets it apart from other city builder games? At least the ones that I said I would play. Well, this game tries to go for a very realistic look here. And I would say the game, for the most part, does very much accomplish seeming and looking like a very realistic game. The only thing magical that I found, if you want to call it magical, is the Forester's Hut. The Forester's Hut, as you can clearly see here, spawns full-grown trees magically around it, and then you chop those trees down. Other than that, everything seems to be pretty, what's the way to put it? Everything seems to be pretty in line with what you would expect how things would actually work. So when you want to build a house, you need to lug lumber over to it. Can one dude carry a giant log? Well, no, you're going to need an ox or mule, or what are they called? Oxes or mules? Ox. Yeah, it was an ox. That's right. So you can see the ox here has to lug the lumber. He needs to actually lug it. And then you're going to need a dude to escort the ox to carry the lumber, and he's going to need to do that every time you want to build stuff. If you want to make planks of wood, you're going to need lumber brought to the saw pit. So you're going to need a dude with an ox getting lumber from somewhere brought to the saw pit. Then the saw pit is going to be what makes your planks. Then your planks can be used in other things. You guys get it? Typical city builder stuff here. One of the differences, probably the biggest difference, is the food. Many city builders, you just have farms, and then you farm the farm, and you get food. This has an actual crop rotation because it's trying to do a very European-y kind of thing here. And a crop rotation means you have 2 seasons where you farm, and then you have 1 season where you don't farm to try to return fertility. If you don't do that, you can see here even farming twice, some of these patches can reach 0% fertility. So it will have a very low yield, let's say it that way. I was not very good with my farming. I kind of didn't really grasp the concept of farming, but I was enjoying the game. But I would say that's kind of the game. I mean, it's typical city builder stuff. You put people, you assign families, you assign whole families, by the way, to a granary. And then when you assign them to the granary, they move around all the food, and then they man the marketplace. What is the marketplace? The marketplace is where people go to sell their goods. So, for example, if you're manning the granary, they will take the food and they will sell it at the marketplace. Now, this is going to sound really dumb, but I assure you this is actually really cool. This is actually one of the coolest features of the game, that you can go into first person. You can actually see things as they play out. So here's my dude. All your dudes look the same. They're always going to look the same. And you can go into first person and you can actually look around your village. And this is such a basic feature, I guess, just being able to walk around. But oh my god, this improved the game so much you guys would never understand. And I think that's kind of the best part about this game, is it's all the small things about this game that you can really start to appreciate. Now, I would say this experience is a bit shallow. It's not the most deep thing ever. I'll go into more of its gameplay features later, but it's just a really cool kind of experience, this game. It's very well done. It's very much meant to be a game to be appreciated. So I mostly make firewood for people to burn for fuel to keep warm during the winter, and bread that we farm for. Now, bread has to go into well, I mean, I'll show you right here. So what you need to do with bread is you need to put your bread into your windmill, and then you take the windmill and then you take that and you put it into the communal oven, and then boom, you got bread. So your farmers farm the stuff, then they thresh the wheat They thresh the wheat into, I don't remember the name of all this process. My mind is breaking. So it goes, wheat gets farmed, then threshed, then into windmill, then into oven, then into bread, which then gets into the marketplace, which then gets sold to all your people. Now, whatever you're farming for your people, whatever you're making for your people, will then get sold at the marketplace. So me, I made a lot of bread, and you can see, wow, they're selling bread. So cool. But actually so cool. But actually so cool. We had some berries earlier. They're selling berries and bread. That's what my people make. Berries and bread. Berries and bread. You see that? Look at that. Berries and bread. Isn't that cool? If you do a lot of hunting, you'll see hunting stuff here. I don't really do a lot of hunting. Most of my hunting gets turned into clothing. And I think you can actually see some people selling clothing here. Surely we'll see some. Yeah, you can see some people selling leather here for clothing. Look at that. We get leather from hunting. They take that leather, they sell it to your people. Your people make clothing out of the leather. Isn't that cool? And you look here, and you run through this marketplace, and it's cool. I don't know a better way to put that. It's aesthetic. I'm sure you guys are watching this, and you're thinking like, dang, that's actually kind of cool. And you guys, oh, look at that. There's the windmill over there. That's my city. This is my city. Do you guys have this city? No, you don't have this city. I have this city. I made this city. I mean, this city took me like 5 hours. That was not very good, but I made it, and look at it. It's aesthetic. Look at it. I got my fields in the distance. I got my windmill. It doesn't, I mean, you'll sit there a few times. You'll walk to your city. There's not that much to do, but isn't that cool? And, boy, oh boy, that's kind of how this game is. It's kind of a shallow game. Doesn't have that much to it, but man, I really like what they were doing with it aesthetically, what they're doing with that. So like, here's another thing that's kind of cool. You can see, well, actually, I guess I should describe this feature for you. So right now they have development, and I think this is per village, but I never managed to expand more than one village because I'm very good at this game, I assure you. But you can see for this village, I went with heavy plow, fertilization, and orchardry. So I can plant apple orchards in the back of my villages. It's very expensive, but I can do it. So you can see I go here, I decide this villager hut, you guys are gonna plant apples. Boom. And now they're trying to plant apples, and then the villagers will come back here. Okay, I was kind of hoping they were actually going to do that. And then they'll start planting apples, and they'll grow into an apple tree. It takes 3 years to grow, which is a very long time. But then what you can do is you look back here and look at these apples. Look at them apples. And you can see them growing. They keep dying during winter. I'm not really sure how to get apples to grow, because they die, the trees die every winter, which seems to be very suspect. But you can see, like, okay, these apples are older because I was planting them left to right as I got more money, and you can see these ones are older and they're getting a bit taller over here. They grow up. I mean, you can see over here we got a cobbler shop and stuff like that. So where am I? So here's the church. You guys remember the church? The church was over here. That led to some stuff you can see. So you actually look back here. I know this sounds really dumb, but like, it's cool, right? So you look back here and here's the cobbler shop. And then up here, I believe, let's see, there's the market, but was it here or was it over there? I had my blacksmith. No, I think this was my blacksmith area. Well, you know, I gotta go look now, because I gotta double check for you guys, because I gotta show you guys if I have a blacksmith here. And no, it's just an empty hut. Well, I think it was a blacksmith. Hey, what's a blacksmith? Look at that. Blacksmith. Anvil. Look at that. Ain't that cool? That's this game. Bunch of cool ideas. So what can we do here? Let's go back here. Each time you start a game, you can put development points in. This helps you kind of like do a different play style. Now, it's not fleshed out. Most of them are work in progress, locked in early access, work in progress. But what can some of them be? Trapping. Your hunters can now get passive meat income. You get double meat by hunters. You get hides from traps. You get passive hide income, passive meat income, and double the meat harvested. Here, doubles the capacity for all berry deposits. Do you not want to be a farming village? Do you want to be a smaller village? Maybe more tight, compact? Maybe a village that just kind of maybe does hunting stuff. I don't know, but you can do that. Do you want to make your troops armor? Do you want to make them helmets? Well, you can do that down here. And let's talk about troops for a second, because this is another one of those cool, neat ideas you can do. Here's my army. Now, what do I mean, here's my army? I mean, here's my army. You can see all my villagers will raise up. I made them shields and spears because I figured that was going to be a pretty good idea. Shields and spears. So what do we got here? Run to positions, holds, disband unit. You got stances you can do here. Missile alert, double missile defense, half melee defense. Balance, no advantage. Stand your ground, you have double defense, but you attack half as quick. Push forward, your troops try to push forward. Give ground, your troops try to push backwards. Let the opponents push into you. And so I believe you can, yeah, I mean, you can sit in here. You can look at your dudes. I mean, you walk through them. I don't know if your character can actually die, but you know, like here's your army. Now, if I put armor on them, I could get armor. If I could get gambesons, I could do stuff like that. I probably could have given them helmets, but you know, shields and spears, that's all we ever needed. The army system is another one of these systems that's kind of interesting. You can't really see it the most here. But you can see you have effectiveness. Fatigue and cohesion has slightly reduced my effectiveness. Other things could be like if you're attacking downhill, you get a massive boost. If you're attacking uphill, you get a massive debuff. If you're surrounded, you get a massive debuff, you know, stuff like that. So it does try to be, I would say, like a very realistic game. If, you know, you surround an enemy unit, you can easily dismantle them without taking any real casualties, right? So there's definitely strength in numbers, which is, you know, pretty historical, right? Shields seem to help your dudes. Armor definitely seems to help them. I lost a lot of my peasantry to you know, not having armor, but armor is expensive and I'm not really sure how to get it very easily. I didn't even put points into getting it, so what am I gonna do? So surrounding enemies, doing flanking, stuff like that definitely helps. Just having all the people on the front line can be one thing, but having, say, 2 squads, because, you know, you can definitely move your units like this, as if you can see. It's like if you have 2 squads and you put them into a stand your ground over here, you can have 2 other squads flank around the side and get flanking bonuses on them. So far, you're not really fighting against another AI. They have city building disabled. So this is, you know, this is why I would kind of call this a shallow experience. I think IGN gave this game a 7 out of 10. That's fair, I would say. A 7 out of 10 is pretty fair. It's definitely a lot of very good ideas that a lot of people are looking forward to, but not the most fleshed out. Enemies will send predetermined armies at you. Now, this is more dangerous than it sounds, although most of your peasantry will instantly respawn. You don't so much have a population as you have families. So your families will always try to have twice as many men as women. If a bunch of your men are wiped out, they'll respawn like within a couple days, I think. It's not a very long time. The only problem is that you have to plant, and you have to plant early in the season, and you have to harvest later in the season. So if your people are dying at a bad time, even if it's for a couple days, it can seriously impact you, which you don't want that happening, because, you know, you only get to harvest once a year. If you miss your harvest, boy, that can be pretty bad, because that's all you can do for food. You can do berries, you can do hunting, but if you're not set up for that, or if you killed off your animals, or if you already harvested all your berries, you know, yeah. So, yeah, I can disband my army real quickly here. And one thing I'll try to show you here is like how the seasons change. The seasons very much impact the map. And one thing, just to be clear, even though this is in early access, I haven't had like any issues, bugs, crashes, anything like that. Pretty much everything that's happened has happened as it was intended, I guess is the way to put it. The only thing, again, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the only thing that seems to be screwy is farming. Once you get lots of farms, it seems to be a little bit screwy and not work quite right. I also never managed to get to tier 3. Getting to tier 3 seems to be quite difficult in this game. Just meeting all the requirements. I've talked to other people, and getting to all the requirements at the same time to get to tier 3 seems to be difficult right now. I don't know if I'm not good enough at the game, or if other people aren't good enough at the game, or something. Yeah, I would say that's about my opinion of the game, though. It's just, it's a shallow experience. There's not that much to do right now, but boy, oh boy, doesn't it look aesthetic. And, you know, as we're looking here, we're watching February. You can see in the bottom right, we're watching February become March. We're watching the snow melt away. It just looks cool. I mean, it's not, is this the best graphics you've ever seen in your life? No, obviously not, but it's a very aesthetic kind of thing. You watch the snow melt away, and you're looking at your fields come out, and we're looking, can we look at some dudes do their job? I mean, Oh, you guys are probably not planting quite yet. My flax seems to have not done the best during the winter. Okay, so we got some dudes. What are we doing over here? I don't know what you guys are doing over here. You guys are doing something over here. And, yeah. That's about the game, I would say. The game, the most enjoyable part about this game so far, this is gonna sound dumb. This is it. This is what I've liked most about the game. You're not, he's not quite right, but you know, he's got the spirit. And this is kind of my industrial area again, by the way. Industrial. It's industrial for medieval society, right? I mean, you can see, and there's the town. Honestly, the thing I like most about this game mode right here, the thing I like most about this is just how grandiose it makes your village feel and look and kind of seem like. So even though when you're looking from above and you're looking down at your people, you're thinking, man, these dudes are kind of small. They're not really, you know, the biggest of dudes and all that. But you know, here you got your iron mine, and the iron mine seems a little bit bigger, and you got the forest, and you got your path through the forest, and you can actually walk through it. You can see, here's the dude carrying a log. Here's a dude carrying a log. Lots of dudes carrying logs. Another dude, also, he's carrying a log. She's carrying a cart. Pulling a cart? What do you call it? Carrying or pulling? Well, she's pulling it. And yeah, that's this game. This game's a very comfy game. I would say that's true. This game's a very comfy game. And I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. But again, right now, I would say 7 out of 10 is a bit of a fair rank for this game. Not that much you can do. Pretty much follows city builder, typical city builder stuff. And yeah, that's this game. So that's what I think about it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.